I think the U.S. Government's preemptive disclosure of intelligence pre-invasion, in terms of warning the world about the kind of false flags that Putin was going to try to use as a pretext for the impending invasion, I think that was just fantastic strategy. I think that really caught the Kremlin off balance. It also appears to be that strategic dissemination of declassified information from the U.S. probably delayed the invasion. So I mean, that was just very good strategy. But you may recall how there was a lot of talk with pretty good specifics as to how the impending invasion was going to actually happen in certain stages. So it was U.S. government officials. I remember watching them on TV describing these steps. I remember reading about it in the news, that there would be a very significant cyber attack on the entire Ukraine infrastructure, so that essentially the entire country would be blacked out, and communications would be disrupted. Then it would be lots of softening up of Ukraine from afar, right, with bombing and shelling, that Russia was going to take the Ukrainian airspace very quickly, that they're going to destroy any remnants of an air force that Ukraine actually does have, which is not very big. And they're going to just claim aerial superiority over Ukraine. They're going to soften up all the targets by shelling first, and then they're going to conduct a full-scale invasion. And that they're going to take Kiev within days. I distinctly recall, the information coming from the U.S. government that was going to happen within 2-3 days. And then they might take the entire country. It might take them a little more than just 2-3 days to take the entire country, but it was going to be very fast. And so they were very right on, right? So like our U.S. government was really correct with regards to specific factual plans that the Kremlin had pre-invasion. Like when the invasion is going to start, they called it. U.S. intelligence was right on the money with that. But the forecasting of what was going to happen after the invasion turned out to be all wrong. And we should always try to look for a simple explanation for those kind of things. And the simple explanation that I have been able to come up with that really explains this very, just it's a beautiful explanation. The U.S. intelligence sources inside the Kremlin and the FSB are very high up. So, as these letters describe, the people at the top completely believe their own crap, that this is how this invasion is going to happen, and they are going to take Ukraine in just a matter of days. And so that intelligence that the Kremlin and the top echelons of the FSB themselves believed believed that that is how the invasion was actually going to happen. That is what got picked up by the U.S. intelligence. And the U.S. intelligence, because the Kremlin was so convinced that this was right, and they were so confident in how they're going to approach this invasion and what the result was going to be, the U.S. intelligence just decided to believe that too, that Russia was going to take Kiev in 2-3 days. So it's I always think that it's best to look for the simplest explanation. And that seems to be, a very, very, very clean explanation of how the U.S. got so much right in terms of intelligence, and then just mirrored some of the Kremlin's delusions about what's going to transpire after the actual invasion starts.